What's up, guys? This is Ed here once again for the Blood Type Online YouTube channel, and we're here for another edition of Review in Blue. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the channel, you might have seen the Review in Blue episode that I did about the original I Spit on Your Grave. Well, I guess it would only be appropriate that I do this. We're going to take a look at the remake of I Spit on Your Grave. Now, if you guys pay attention to the site, me on these videos, whatever, you know I'm not a big fan of remakes. And personally, when I first heard about the I Spit on Your Grave remake, I was pretty pissed off. I thought it was completely stupid. I thought it was going to be undeniably watered down, and I just didn't really care about it. That is until some people that I know personally and I consider trustworthy actually had a chance to check it out when it was making the festival circuit. And I was really surprised at the things that I was hearing about it. I was hearing that it's just as relentless. It's not a nice movie. Basically, I was hearing all of the things that I wanted to hear, and these are all things that makes the original such a good flick. So I had my interest piqued, I have to admit that. Then I managed to get it on Blu-ray, and I was still kind of skeptical, but I sat down and I watched the movie, and to be honest with you, I was kind of impressed. I don't think it's a great movie by any sense. I definitely think it falls short of a lot that the original movie did and did well. But at the same time, it wasn't watered down. Now, of course, it's a little bit more ridiculous in moments. If you guys are familiar with the Last House on the Left remake, you'll kind of see how they took a lot of the things and kind of went off the deep end with it. And it kind of takes away from the seriousness of the movie. Now, they do the same thing in this one, just not quite as ridiculous, okay? There are some extremely positive things about this movie that I can say. Just, if you're a hardcore fan of the original, know one thing, okay? And this is a big deal when it comes to remakes, and a lot of them this doesn't apply. The original director, Miyazaki, actually still owns the proprieties and the rights to the original I Spit on Your Grave. So, he's actually making money from this, which is a good thing. He's the guy that made the original. He should get paid. Not only that, I was really worried about the cast, okay? If you guys have seen the original movie, Camille Keaton, who plays the Jennifer character, who is battered, beaten, and, I mean, it's a rough role. But she does a fantastic job, and I've always admired her role in the original. And I knew that when remaking this, they were going to have their hands full trying to cast that character. Although I don't think she's quite as good as Camille was in the original movie, Sarah Butler actually plays the role of Jennifer Hills in this movie, does a pretty good job. There's also some other people that have a horror background, let's say. There's a guy in the movie who he plays one of the creeps, if you will, you know, the people that are chasing Jennifer around. And the guy's name is Daniel Franzese. I think that's how you say it. But he's a really solid actor, and he actually shows up in one of my favorite movies. It's a movie called Bully from director Larry Clark, who you guys might be familiar with the movie Kids. He is actually one of the bad guys in this movie. And I don't know why I did the quote thing. But he does a pretty good job. He's a little bit over the top, but I think he did pretty well overall. There was one person in this movie, though, that I was shocked when I seen this. I'm the type of dude that whenever I sit down to watch something like this, I don't really like read all the packaging and all that fun stuff. I just kind of throw the movie in the player and see what it is, especially when it's something like this. But there was a character in the movie who's one of the, and I'll use the stupid quotes again, bad guys, who I recognized. I didn't know from what or what I had seen him in or anything, but that person ended up being Rodney Eastman. The name might not ring a bell, but I guarantee you, when you watch this movie, keep in mind that this guy was one of the Dream Warriors in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, and he actually comes back in Part 4 and gets killed. But yeah, he's a veteran of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and I thought he did pretty well here. And I just really thought it was a pretty cool way of casting, to be honest with you. I'm sure he did good enough to win the role out, and that's a bonus too. But just being able to put his name on it, and he's a guy who's a horror veteran, and he did a pretty good job, so I was glad that he was cast in the movie. The main bad guy, if you will, I believe is named Jeff Branson, and he's basically a soap opera actor, and I was a little disappointed in that. I thought that his character was probably the most lacking out of all of them, and it's not a character that necessarily makes you mad because he's a bad guy. It just kind of makes you mad because he's annoying, really. So that brings it down a little bit, but overall, it's a pretty mean and nasty movie, and I think that it's pretty true to the original movie. Certainly, the first one was made in 1978. This one's from 2010. It's just different, period. But I think that spirit that the original film had is here in this one. And although it's not quite as good, I would definitely say it's worth a look. Now, I know a lot of you guys want to know bottom lines when it comes to this stuff because money's tight and it's tough to go out and buy everything you want to buy. So I won't tell you to run out and buy this, okay? Save your money. I don't know if everybody out there is going to like it or not. I personally did. I wasn't crazy about it, but I liked it. If you can get it for a good price, definitely pick it up. But it's worth a rental. It comes with audio commentary from the director, as well as some of the stars and the producer of the film. It says The Revenge of Jennifer Hills, remaking a cult icon, which I thought was a pretty cool special feature that actually forcefully compares the original and this one, which does a pretty good job of doing that too. There's a teaser trailer, a theatrical trailer, a radio spot, which is insane that there's a radio spot for a movie made now, but whatever. And of course, deleted scenes. The movie is pretty mean and nasty. It's not like the original, there's no 27-minute rape scene, but there is some ugliness in this one. There's a lot of nudity, stuff like that. So, if you guys are interested, at the very least, it's worth a look. I'm not saying it's going to blow your mind or it's the best remake ever made. I'm not going to go that far. But I do think that it's a solid effort. It's definitely worth checking out at least once. And, if you are going to buy it, I do recommend the Blu-ray. So just keep your eye out for good prices. You know what I mean? I wouldn't spend anything over 20 bucks on this, really. That's about as high as I would go with it personally, just if I wanted to see it for the first time and add it to my collection. But it is worth checking out, like I said. So you might not be disappointed in this one like I wasn't. I was expecting to absolutely hate this movie, and I thought it did a lot of good stuff. So I could at least say that about it. So definitely give the I Spit on Your Grave remake a try. Buy at your own risk, of course. And, like I always tell people when it comes to buying movies in general, just look for the best price, man. A little bit of hunting and you can get a good deal on some stuff and end up getting more for your money. So just makes more sense to do that. So that's it. That's a sort of a recommendation. Just watch what you're spending on it, I guess I could say. So that's about it. I'm Ed, Blood Type Online YouTube channel. Another edition of Review in Blue down the drain. Thanks, guys.